at the end of the day, we're all different, and we're all unique and special. So, so that always means that there's always going to be an opportunity to explore some difference, I think, around that. I have an interesting, and I don't know if you experience this, but most people don't ever imagine I'm Puerto Rican, right? They don't ever think about it. Even when they see my last name, my 2 hyphenated last names and the whole bit, it doesn't occur to them. So have you ever had this thing, sometimes I said, boy, I wish my mouth had a backspace button, right? Yeah. I do that. I was like, oh my God, I wish my mouth had a backspace button. Well, people often will disclose things, right? And so they'll start saying things like, as I'm, particularly, and I see it even at Goodwill, oh, well, are you, those people, the Latinos, they're all a bunch of undocumented individuals. They're this, they're that. They just things, and not so much in that kind of terms, because people aren't quite sophisticated. So they go, so Debbie, tell me, how do you address the immigration problem? Right? That's how they do it. So they never, right? And I'll go, well, what exactly is the immigration problem that I'm supposed to address? And he goes, well, there's some people out there, and this and then I realize they've sort of taken me in their confidence, because they actually don't realize I'm Latina, right, and stuff, and they've sort of taken me into their confidence. And then I go, well, as a Puerto Rican, and I've had this literally happen in San Francisco with executives. So how long have you been a U.S. citizen? I said, well, all my life we're actually U.S. citizens. All my life. My parents were U.S. citizens. Oh, well, were they born here? No, actually, they were born in Puerto Rico. So I give them a little, very, very respectful history lesson. But, and they say, well, you're so different. You're not like them. And that's, it's things like that. So, I'm at the point now where the kind of discrimination is different than when they told me I should just get married, and have a lot of babies. That was when I was. Now there's a subtlety about it, and I actually don't. I used to get really angry. I don't get angry anymore. I just go, here's an opportunity for me to have an authentic engagement with someone, and to help me understand better their world and what's influencing their thinking, and for me to be able to share that and come to a place of common ground.
Let me just say 2 things on this question. One that's trying to make a joke out of it, and then the other that's more serious. People sometimes think I'm Greek. And the last name Canales, I think they look at me and they don't necessarily read Latino, and so that's sort of interesting from time to time. So I get more of that reaction. I think people are sometimes surprised, as with Debbie. But the more serious point that I'd make is something that I do think about quite a bit, and I hate to end on something that's a little bit more of a kind of sober note, but I'll just make the observation because at least it's something I think about a lot. I often wonder, I've had these opportunities to be in these leadership roles, to be serving on boards, to do things like the President's Council. I do think to myself, am I there because I'm Latino, or am I there because of what I offer? And there are these moments of self-doubt, if you will, that I find myself having at times where I think, gee, I really want to be here because I deserve to be here. I don't want to be here because they needed a Latino, and so, oh God, well, if there's one there, and he looks like he's okay, and in fact, he kind of looks Greek, so let's bring him in. That's not what I want, and so that lingers with me. That definitely lingers with me, and maybe it's just something that lingers with all of us.